and you don't even want to know what I'm going to do when they lose. I'm predicting them to lose. You have not seen the type of foolish show I'm going to put on in this post-game video when the Indiana Fever ultimately take an L tonight, because Stephanie White is going to play 19 players in the first quarter and take Caitlin Clark out in the first 84 seconds.
That is a massive prediction from a seasoned broadcaster. To pick a regular season home game over Game 2 of the NBA Finals shows exactly how the entertainment gravity has completely shifted toward Indiana. But look closely at the tension hiding beneath that excitement. The Indiana Fever organization is facing a massive internal crisis just as their national spotlight burns brightest. The narrative moving through the media this week isn't about court strategy or shooting percentages. It is a targeted discussion focused on internal team friction, front office desperation, and an alleged smear campaign aimed directly at the team's central star.
That she might be in some sort of trouble.
Here's why I say there's some truth to it. Is when they overreacted and banned this Scott Agnes. That's a sign of desperation. That's a sign of chaos. That's a sign of like, hey, the heat's been turned up. Let's do something irrational, trying to fix it, blah, blah.
Desperation and chaos are the exact words being used behind the scenes. When a franchise starts revoking media credentials and banning local beat reporters like Scott Agnes, it signals a front office losing control of its own narrative. But the real story goes much deeper than standard media friction. A distinct split has formed inside the franchise's leadership structure. While external critics push for changes, the core executives in charge of the Fever organization, including Kelly Krauskopf, Lin Dunn, and Amber Cox, remain completely locked in behind head coach Stephanie White. In fact, insiders reveal the entire organizational culture is being anchored around the head coach rather than being constructed to support their generational rookie talent.
I think Maurice makes an excellent point. What the women are actually saying is, hey, if Caitlin Clark goes away, the scrutiny goes away. And we can go back to being a mom and pop organization. And, I can keep my job, Kelly Krauskopf. No one's criticizing me. We can just fall back into being what the Indiana Fever had been before Caitlin Clark. And it's like, if she goes away, the scrutiny.
Think about the weight of that statement. The active theory circulating among league insiders is that the Fever front office would actually welcome a return to a low-scrutiny environment. Before June 2024, the franchise operated as a traditional, quiet organization far away from the relentless daily cycle of national sports talk shows. By allowing the external spotlight to shift elsewhere, team executives could protect their long-term positions and maintain their established hierarchy without facing constant public accountability for personnel mistakes. But as media veteran Steve Kim quickly points out, removing the massive public spotlight comes with a devastating financial reality that a business-oriented league simply cannot afford.
Yeah, but Jason, you know what else goes away? About 2/3 of your audience. I mean, I know it's a mom and pop organization without Caitlin Clark. It's also probably one that doesn't do as well at the box office. So I get it. Ticket sales aren't the end all and be all nowadays, but it's not like they have an NBA television contract. I mean, to me, that would,
The business reality is staggering when you look at the raw data. During Caitlin Clark's rookie season, the Indiana Fever led the league by averaging more than 17,000 fans per game at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. By the early summer stretch of June 2026, those numbers have experienced a visible contraction, sliding down toward a 14,500 nightly average. Ticket prices across secondary markets have dipped alongside that attendance decline, and the nightly celebration of record-breaking television ratings has noticeably slowed down in sports media circles. This brings us back to the core structural problem highlighted by league analysts. The franchise isn't acting like a modern entertainment business maximizing its primary asset. It is being subsidized as a traditional community entity where immediate profitability and attendance stability take a backseat to internal executive preferences.
And you know what? Let's get Caitlin Clark out of there. Let's move her to Golden State. Let's move her to New York. Let's move her someplace else that will work better for us, and we'll get her partnered with a organization that actually is trying to look at this as a business, but it's just not going to work in
a forced relocation to a high-profile market like Golden State or New York would completely reshape the financial landscape of women's professional basketball. But a move of that magnitude faces a massive obstacle in Indianapolis. Team owner Herb Simon has historically operated the franchise with a specific organizational philosophy. empowering a dedicated executive circle to prioritize a structured, coach-centric environment over individual superstar branding. The ongoing friction stems from a fundamental mismatch in expectations. The star player and her management team operate with an elite high-stakes business mindset, while the front office remains firmly committed to a traditional system that resists outside fan management and heavy media scrutiny. This internal resistance is no longer just a rumor, as local media veterans have begun explicitly detailing the organization's private frustrations.
Because her system is so good that when people actually buy into it, don't take bad shots, don't act like divas, the team is really good. It is really good. Without, you mentioned it, they win things, they do all this without her. The system's great. The star is a pain in the ass. And they haven't won enough.
That is an incredibly direct report, coming from an analyst with deep roots in Indianapolis basketball culture. When an insider with a 10-year professional relationship with general manager Lin Dunn goes on the air to label a star player a persistent internal headache, it represents a deliberate strategic move. This isn't casual talk radio speculation. It is a coordinated message designed to prepare the public for severe internal friction. The front office is actively pushing a narrative that the team's established basketball system is entirely sound and that any failure to achieve elite winning percentages rests squarely on the individual attitude and perceived entitlement of their primary box office draw.
I didn't see Dan Dockich talking. That was Lin Dunn talking to all of us directly, in my opinion. Dan Dockich and Lin Dunn go back for over 10 years strong. Over 10 years, they've had a relationship. And the one thing, you got to remember what Jason Whitlock said earlier in the show in reference to the Scott Agnes situation. They responded emotionally.
The silence from the front office following these explosive media statements is deafening. Usually, an organization moves quickly to issue public denials when its franchise cornerstone is openly criticized by media figures close to the front office. Instead, we are seeing key executives like Amber Cox actively blocking critical commentators and fans on digital platforms. The strategy is clear. The organization is letting independent media megaphones deliver their raw internal perspective without attaching an official executive name to the quote. This building frustration isn't just about a star player's attitude during games. It is deeply tied to a massive explosion of personal wealth, endorsement branding, and commercial jealousy that has rapidly divided the locker room.
But you got to understand, Sophie Cunningham, the first thing she said before she even got to Indiana was, oh, plan for Caitlin the Fever would be great for branding. Branding was the first thing she said. And Sophie Cunningham has come here. She's become famous. She got 1 million followers overnight. She got national televised Arby's commercials. I think I saw her on NFL Network before. She's all over.
The commercial transformation inside this locker room has happened at an unprecedented pace. Teammates who were flying commercial and playing in front of empty stands 24 months ago are now securing million-dollar contracts and starring in national corporate ad campaigns. Guard Sophie Cunningham saw her digital following skyrocket to over 1 million followers almost overnight, parlaying that visibility into high-profile national television commercials and major media opportunities. Other roster players have seen similar windfalls, capitalizing on the massive popularity surrounding the team to secure lucrative roster spots in high-paying alternative off-season leagues like Unrivaled and Project B, where contracts are reaching up to $2 million. Yet, as the financial tide lifts every boat in the harbor, a profound sense of isolation is growing around the central figure responsible for generating that wealth.
It's the everyday being like, what the is this idiot going to do today? Now, they don't say that publicly because you can't criticize Caitlin Clark if you're on the team, but that's what it's become. Last year, you see Caitlin Clark when she was injured, all with her girls, Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham. You don't see that anymore, do you?
That was a key.
The complete breakdown of visible chemistry on the roster is the ultimate proof of this internal divide. During the initial phases of this rebuilding project, pre-game social media clips and arena walk-ins routinely featured lighthearted interactions, shared jokes, and genuine off-court friendships between the young core. By June 2026, those public displays of camaraderie have entirely vanished from the team's media feeds. The locker room has fractured into distinct factions based on personal motivations, branding goals, and conflicting cultural values. The intense media pressure has amplified every minor disagreement into an organizational crisis. leaving the coaching staff stuck trying to manage a team where individual players no longer feel an institutional need to protect or support their central star. This brings us to the ultimate turning point for the future of the Indiana franchise. The current operational model is fundamentally broken and cannot sustain another season of intense public scrutiny, sliding attendance data, and front office media wars. Executives cannot continue to run a high-profile national asset like a quiet local shop, while their primary player operates under an elite global business framework. If the leadership group continues to prioritize traditional coaching structures over superstar talent management, a permanent split is inevitable. The Stars' representation will have no choice but to force an aggressive market relocation to an organization fully equipped to handle the modern sports landscape. The era of treating the league as a low-stakes community project is officially over, and the executives in Indianapolis must either adapt to the massive business demands of modern entertainment or watch their historic financial windfall walk out the door. So who is ultimately responsible for this building disaster? Is it a front office running an incompetent media strategy, or a locker room divided by commercial jealousy and sudden wealth? You cannot blame both sides equally. Pick a side and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and leave a like to stay dialed into the deep business stories shaping the game. See you on the next breakdown.